Why did you want to adopt? Who is the best cook in the kitchen?
2 people right there. How did you guys meet? When was the last time we kissed anyway?
Yeah. Fresh vet. We overseas with this one, man. Get busy. Get busy. Everybody get busy. I need y'all to report to the dance floor right this minute.
So we posted on Instagram a Q&A for questions that they wanted us to answer. So here we go, we're gonna answer a bunch of questions. Who would you say gets on the best in the family, like gets along? That's cutie.multis asked that question. Who gets along the best, do you think?
Well, I think Kennedy gets along with everybody. She's really easygoing.
Yeah.
Ledger definitely gets along with everybody because everyone wants Ledger's attention.
I would say some of the besties. Who's some of the besties?
So NayVee's usually really easy to get along with.
Yeah, and LiLee and NayVee are very close.
Yeah, so those two.
Yeah, their personalities really go well together. SaiDee also gets along really well with LiLee, and where she's her biological big sister. That's kind of a deep relationship there. They depend on each other a lot before they were adopted and after. So they're really close. And let's see, who else? Oh, Trey and Beckham.
Yes,
are very close, very close. DeLayNee and Bridger are like that.
Yeah.
They love skateboarding and soccer and just gaming. They love all that kind of stuff together. They're little besties.
PaisLee and PresLee hang out a lot.
PresLee.
And PresLee get along really well. And I think that PresLee sometimes hangs out with ElleCee and with DeLayNee at times.
Yeah, that's true. Because they're all really close. Like, you know, PaisLee and DeLayNee.
A year and a half of each other.
Yeah, and ElleCee and PresLee are 4 months apart, and so they all get along really well. I would say JourNee she loves everybody in our family and everyone gets along with her, but she is really close to animals. Like, she just loves animals, and so whenever we've had a pet, that is like her best friend.
Yeah, she likes to hang out in her room and draw and
she's just kind of she likes to kind of be a loner sometimes, and then sometimes she'll join everybody, but you know, everyone's different, and so some people like to be around people all the time and other people like to just kind of have their space and then join with our big family when they're ready to, which, you know, we have a huge family and it's noisy and it's crazy, and you know, some personalities, that's not fun all the time. You know, she comes when she wants, and then we let her go have her space when she needs it. Who else is best?
I think the one that has the hardest time is Luke.
Yeah.
Because he's around girls, girls, and more girls, and he just doesn't quite have
7 sisters
a brother to hang out
before there's
with.
like a brother's age, so that's a little tricky. So he does hang out with Beckham sometimes and stuff, but I think that, you know, if
Jaine hangs out with LiLee sometimes, and NayVee.
Anyway, we're going too long about who hangs out with each other. That was the big question. But anyway, there's a few really big besties, but they all get along pretty well together. You know, there are days that they don't, so I don't want you guys out there to think that our family's perfect and they just always are best friends and no, there's at least 5 fights a day, and they're about dumb things that don't really matter, but you know, people get irritated and big families have fights.
Just turn on some music and let them dance, and then they all get along.
Then everyone stops. So we just turn on the dance. Okay, dance music. Okay, let's see the next question. How is quarantine going?
I'm going crazy because I cannot stand to be in the house. I want to be working and moving and doing everything that I do. How about you?
Yeah, there's a lot of little social butterflies in our family that are really struggling with not being able to get out there and do, you know, be with their friends, and so it's hard. I'm sure a lot of you are going through the same thing. But for the most part, all of the kids are handling it really well. It was super rough the first week with the teenagers because they could not imagine not being with their friends all the time. But it's been over a month now, and I think they're getting kind of the hang of it. And we have hope that in another few weeks, in a month, that maybe we can start hanging out again and enjoying our friends. But it's going okay. So let's go on with the next question. Do you have a buddy system in your family? If so, who are the buddies?
That was kind of like, so Trey and Beckham, PaisLee and PresLee.
Yeah.
You said DeLayNee and Bridger.
We have had the buddy system before. One time I prepared, and I mean I prepared for church this one time, and I assigned everybody a buddy, and they all had their own little sack of what they were gonna do during church, and I thought, oh, it's gonna be wonderful, everyone's gonna be so quiet. It was the worst sacrament meeting ever! I don't know why. Anyway, so what I've kind of decided is in the moment, I choose the buddy. So because sometimes someone is just not getting along with someone, or whatever, someone's being kind of difficult and they need a little bit more relaxed buddy. So what I'll do is just before I get out, say before we get out of the bus, like we just got somewhere for a family night or something, I'll say, okay, you know, Jaine, you take Beckham, Trey, and I'll just make a quick assignment, and then they just take them with them. And the buddy system has helped us before huge. When we were in Paris, we were actually tear gassed because we were caught in the middle of a riot, and that was really, really scary. But because we had our buddies, everybody stayed with their buddies. Even among we couldn't breathe and we were trying to find our way to safety, and everybody held hands with their buddies. And so it's a huge safety help when you have a buddy. And so I love that question. So yeah, we do that. We do
Especially
that.
when we get out of the car, we always assign somebody a buddy.
Yes, yeah, very important when you have as many kids as us. That question was from cutie.multis. This next question is from Jen_Dam. She says, what made you want so many kids? Oh, that's a loaded question. When we first met, we, like, it was love at first sight, right? I mean, we'll have to tell you the story of how
yeah.
it was love at first sight. Anyway, within like a week, we were asking each other.
It's still love at first sight.
It is, every day, love at first sight, first thing in the morning, woo. Anyway, we had a big conversation a week after knowing each other, and we asked each other all these questions that were super like important to us, things like, how are you gonna discipline your kids someday when you get married? And how are you going to handle this situation or that? And I asked, would you be willing to adopt? And we asked, how many kids do you want? So we asked all these big questions, and that's a really good idea for those of you who are dating seriously, because we found out a lot about each other. But we, at that time, I said, I want a huge family. I want like 7 kids, right?
I think I said 6.
Yeah, and Benji said 6. So let's see, what's 7 plus 6?
13.
We were almost right. We had no clue we would adopt this many kids, but as you've seen in our adoption stories, we have adopted a sibling group of 6, which shot our numbers clear up. And I will tell you more about those adoption stories. I think we'll do some more Q&As and kind of get our version of the adoption stories, because they are pretty cool, right? We have had some miracles, for sure.
Very special things happen to make things fall into place to happen.
We know 100% that every child that is in our home was supposed to be ours.
That is for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So we just kept going with it. We just kind of kept going with however many Heavenly Father wanted us to have, to be honest. And so I think we're done. I think that's the next question. But yeah, we're
it's
done.
It's time for some grandkids.
It's time to, yeah.
Come on, Kass, get on it. Josh, Kass.
Yeah, that's a little early. They've only been married a year, so we'll give them a few years. Okay?
Kennedy, hurry and get married.
All right, next question. Why did you want to adopt? That's a big question. That's asked by a lot of people. So this is from, I'll say this one's from Olivia_Baller00. So like I said, I asked Benji when we did that list of if he would want to adopt, because I had a really cool experience when I was younger. So I was about 12 years old, and I was watching, it was kind of like Oprah, but it was called Donahue back then. It was like, the guy's name was Donahue on the show, and it had a boy speaking. He was like a young man, and he was talking to his adopted mom, and just like, it was the cutest thing. He was crying and telling her how much he loved her and how special she was to him, that she helped him. And anyway, I was crying, and I was, like I said, I was really young, 12 years old, and I begged my mom to foster. I begged her and begged her and begged her until finally she went through all the process and was able to foster, and we were fostering this little girl, Jenny. And wouldn't it be cool if Jenny out there was to see this, because I would die if I could get back in touch with her, because it was such a cool experience. But we ended up fostering this little girl, Jenny, and it was time for her to go back with a different family. It broke my heart because we had become little little friends. And so I sat there and she was like 6, and I rocked her on, we had this fuzzy blue rocking chair, and I rocked her back and forth, and I just told her that she would be protected and she would be okay. And I ran and got this little picture I had of Jesus with angels around him, and I said, look at all these angels. They can protect you and keep you safe, and you're gonna be okay. I will say a prayer for you. And we said a prayer together. And the lady came from the DCFS to get her, and I was standing at the glass door, and I was just watching her walk away, holding that lady's hand and her little picture in her other little hand, clenched in her hand. And it's just like the Spirit just came over me and said, this will be your journey in life. This is gonna be what you do, and kind of like your mission in life. And so I knew it from the beginning. So little did Benji know, when I asked him if he would want to adopt, I was very serious.
That's true. So should I be honest?
Yeah.
So I was really scared. I didn't know if I could really love another child that we didn't have together.
It wasn't biological.
It wasn't a biological child. It was something I thought would be kind of hard and scary. I don't think that adoption is for everyone. It sounds like I want to go save everybody, but there's a lot of challenges sometimes. Since I was a little bit scared, that made me a little bit nervous about wanting to go, you know, and even meet kids. And it took me a little while to where Tiffany didn't ever push me. She kind of said, this is something I feel like we should do. You need to be on board, so it's not just something that you're doing for me. And so it took me some time, and I honestly at first wasn't really looking at it seriously, and then I finally decided I need to just kind of start praying and see if it's something I should really consider. And I finally started doing that, and over time my heart softened and I started feeling like, yeah, this is something that I think I should do. And so I started to have an open heart, like I said, to start considering it. But as Tiffany said, things fell into place, and there was no doubt that once the process started, we found the children that were supposed to be ours, and now they're ours. There's no difference whether they came biologically or whether they were adopted.
Yeah.
They're our kids and we love them. And I think the other thing that's for parents out there too is you don't immediately love every single child right when you bring them into their home. It takes some time. There's a honeymoon phase, and then there's some reality. And it takes work to be able to learn to love them on both sides.
Yeah, and for them to feel comfortable here. Like sometimes when you're very first thinking about adopting, you're like, oh, all I have to do is just love this child and they're just gonna love me back. And they've been through trauma and they've been through really hard things. And so, you know, you don't always look like the bright, shiny, you know, parents that you think that you want to look like. You sometimes look like the enemy because, you know, they've been removed from their biological family that they love. And so it can be really, really hard. And there is a lot of learning that goes along with it, and we've learned a lot. You know, I think that with Bridger, we probably made a lot more mistakes than we've made with DeLayNee and ElleCee, because we've just kind of learned how to figure things out in a way that makes sense for both us and for our kids. And so we're learning and we're growing, and hopefully, like I said, we're becoming better. It's definitely a learning process, and it's not always easy. It's not always rainbows and butterflies. Sometimes it's really, really hard. And you're dealing with beautiful people who are also learning how to navigate this world, and they've gone through really hard things. And so there has to be a ton of patience. And you know, love really does help, but you also have to have patience and energy. And we go to therapy. You know, a lot of our kids go to therapy once a week just to process things that they've been through, because it's not perfect. And so, and it's important that all of you viewers out there know, like, our life isn't perfect. I know on camera it looks perfect, right? I've had so many people say, how do you keep your house so beautifully organized all the time? And how do you? We don't. Like, it's a mess sometimes, you know, and it's okay. And we're learning. We're doing better with the mess thing. So basically, we always knew we'd adopt. I always knew we would adopt from age 12. Benji figured it out when we were first married after a few years.
I was 20 something, but hey.
Yeah.
I figured it out.
We figured it out.
No regrets. There's no regrets.
No regrets ever, for sure.
No regrets whatsoever.
What is the hardest thing about having a big family? Asked by Lily_Patullo. the hardest thing about having a big family. Oh man, you get tired. It's a lot of work.
For me,
right?
That is a lot of work.
Yeah.
I think I get frustrated sometimes though, because our house always has dishes. There's always messes here and there. It just seems like we're constantly cleaning and cleaning and cleaning. And sometimes we have to realize, you know what? We don't have to have, that's what we're saying. We don't have to have the perfect house.
Yeah.
If that's what we did, our kids would remember everything being clean, clean, clean. That's probably what they do remember, what we do. But
we don't want them to always remember just cleaning the house. We want them to have other fun memories, and so we have to let that go. And that part can be hard with a big family, because when you have disorganization, you have chaos, and then it's not fun. And so it's just kind of a balance. Guys, get up and let's do our jobs, and now let's go have some fun after we've done jobs. And so we've had a bunch of cute kids ask, like, you know, oh, you're always so nice. No one ever fights at your house. No one has ever grounded at your house. I got grounded. Are people grounded sometimes at our house?
Yes.
Yes, sometimes they get their phone taken away. Sometimes they, you know, need to take a time out. I mean, it's
sometimes
just normal.
they stomp up the stairs and they're mad and throw a little fit.
Yes. The stomping up the stairs is very common at our house. You know, someone's mad when you hear stomping up the stairs.
It's not fair. You love everybody else more than me. Yeah. So sometimes I guess they must not think they're the favorite.
Oh man, we're failing. From Julia Kate McMurray, who is the best cook in the kitchen? Ready? Let's point to who you think is the best cook in the kitchen. 1, 2, 3, go.
Yeah.
Did you guess that?
I guessed that.
He's an awesome husband, and he knows that this mama needs help, and so he is an awesome cook, and he really takes his time. You kind of got to know that you're gonna need like a 2-hour lead time, because he is like the master chef and like plates it and everything, makes it look all pretty. But
yeah, I don't like to go with the current, like, let's just buy something and throw it in the oven. No, I like to really cook.
He likes to really cook from scratch, and so he does a really good job.
But I add too much pepper, they say sometimes, to all the meat.
He likes pepper. All right, let's go with the last question.
Everyone's asking, what made you adopt? What made you adopt? There's a lot. Sorry, there's so many shout outs. We should get all of you that asked that shout out.
I know, and you know what? I think it'd be really cool if we went through and gave our story of kind of the backstory of each one of their adoptions, because they are all so cool, full of miracles. And so we will do that on the next one.
2 people right there. How did you guys meet?
How did you guys meet each other?
Georgia Gilmore and then Tessa
and Narath.
Right next to each other. How did you guys meet?
So normally, like, he does like a rap song about how we met with the kids. He like has literally made a rap song about how we met. But you can, without rapping, tell them how we met.
So I had a football scholarship.
You might just need to rap.
No, I don't know if I can rap.
Just rap.
I don't remember how to rap. I haven't done it for a long time. The hot mom and the sugar daddy is all I remember.
Yeah, the hot mom and the sugar daddy.
The hot mom and the sugar daddy.
It was the first day of school at the college we went to.
Yeah.
And
I had a football scholarship. I thought I was gonna go to one college and play football, and I decided I should pray about it and kind of get a confirmation that I feel good about it. And the place that I was going was a huge university, and all of a sudden I had this feeling that's not where you're supposed to go. You need to go to this other school at SUU, and I ended up going there. First day of school, boom, driving my truck to drop off one of my buddies. I saw this hot mama in a little red car looking all decked out. I was like, oh my gosh, what have I done? I was like, I said, whoa. She heard me, she turned over.
He had the window rolled down, and he was like, had his arm out, he goes, whoa. And he was just turning really slow, so we made eye contact, and I just laughed. But I did go home and tell my roommates that there was this cute guy that said whoa out his window, and so they all knew who the guy was that said whoa. They were just like, the whoa guy. They called him the whoa guy.
I hurried and turned around after I dropped my buddy off. I was only like 3 houses up. Came back, she was gone.
Yeah, I was gone.
And then that night there was a dance.
A dance.
And I saw her again. My heart just went up to her and said, hey, hot mama, I'm your sugar daddy.
He did not say that. Okay, this is what he did say.
I was pretty shy.
Now I have to back up because there's a backstory here. My best friend through like elementary school, her name was Heather. She randomly came to visit me. I hadn't seen her for like 5 or 6 years. She randomly came to visit me before I went to school. And she was talking to me and she said, oh my gosh, I know this really cute guy that's gonna go to the same school as you, and his name is Benji. And I was like, Benji? And she's like, yeah. He is a really nice guy. He's always a designated driver. He's always really just everyone's best friend. He's so kind. You need to meet him. He's the kicker on the football team. And I was like, okay, like I made a mental note. Okay, kicker on the football team, good guy. So at the dance, he says, hey, and he grabs my arm and he goes, are you the girl that I saw like getting into a red car? I said, are you the guy that I heard say whoa? And we just kind of laughed. Thought that was funny. And he started talking about himself and he said, hey, my name is Ben. And then he's like, I'm the kicker on the football team. And I said, your name's not Ben, it's Benji. And he said, how do you know who I am?
I was popular already.
He was already popular. And I said, I told him this story, and literally that night we danced, right? We danced, we still have our song that we danced to.
I didn't let you go dance with anybody else.
Yeah. And guys, yeah.
No.
Within a week, we knew, didn't we? And all I can say is it's like when you're homesick, and it was like when you get home after being homesick. I was home. I found my home.
All I know was I was in love, and I typically was not a guy that I dated a lot. I didn't hang out with girls very much. I just cared about sports, and I went up to her. She was kind of showing me all these moves, like kiss me. And so I leaned in to give her a little kiss.
Don't tell people that.
And she turned her head and says, oh my gosh, I can't believe you just tried to kiss me. And I felt so bad. So I remember getting up that next morning and like decorating her card and apologizing, writing her a letter. I was so sad. I didn't want to lose this girl.
Little did he know, I was being very flirty and I was inviting a first kiss, but I just thought it was funny to mess with him. So I was like, hey, I don't kiss on the first date. What are you trying to do? And yeah.
By the third night, she just didn't want to stop kissing.
Stop it, that is not true. Anyway, okay, that's how we...
When was the last time we kissed, anyway?
I don't know. I think in our video. When we do the intro.
Was probably the last time we kissed. There we go.
Oh my gosh.
There's never any alone time.
I know, we don't have alone time. Like literally right now, there's kids waiting at the door for us to be done filming, so we better be done.
All right.
But you guys, thanks so much for watching. This was fun. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and on Facebook. Now we're on Facebook, and we're finally unhidden on our channel, so yay, we can
subscribe down below because we're going to be right around 500,000. We should hit that by tomorrow. 500,000 subscribers. That's amazing.
Yeah, we're going to do a fun video to celebrate that. So thanks for watching, you guys. Have a good day. See you later.